Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. I'm going to make this as quickly as I can. I'm not going to be addressing the chat or going off onto other subjects. Um, Rich, aka Mr. Thrive and Survive, came out with a video and he says, can a digital camera reveal the distance to the moon? Now, he posed it in the form of a question. He's asking for the mathematics that would be involved in it, and ultimately, what he's trying to find out is that if you were to use the focal ring on a camera, even on a good camera, uh, if the amount that you move that focal ring, if that would actually, if you could actually determine the distance of something. Now, the the long detailed answer is yeah, sure, but the more precise answer is off the shelf cameras you would not be able to get that level of precision off of it. So let me just go ahead and show you this. Like I said, this is just going to be a short video, but let me make sure that I play out properly what his claim is, or not his claim, excuse me, his question. And then I'm not even going to go too much into whatever mathematics that would be involved. I'm just going to actually display it. I already have it up on 3ds Max. So hold on one second. Let me go ahead and play this real quick.
And write back please in the comments and let me know if this is possible, not possible, and why. So let's get into what the idea is right here. Now, before I get specifically to the moon, is there a way to take a digital camera and let's say you know the distances to all these different things you see in the picture. So at first you focus on these trees right here that are in the foreground, or let's just say even closer, these little bushes or whatever that are growing out of the lake. You focus on that, you know the distance. And then you get these in perfect focus, you know that distance. And then you know the distance to this mountain peak, let's say right in here. And you focus on that, and so on as you get farther and farther away. In fact, these three peaks right here would be nice if you knew the distance. So let's just say there's a mathematical constant that is in these cameras to where if you turn it 1%, it goes an extra, I don't know, 20 miles. I don't know. I'm just throwing numbers out there to try to make sense what I'm saying and try to help me explain what I'm trying to say to others who are into photography. So let's go ahead and apply this to the moon now and see what that comes out to be. And of course, it could be any landscape where you have things that are close up and far away. And I'm going to tell you the reason why I came up with this is because a long time ago when I first got into this in 2015, I saw somebody did a video and they were talking about how there was mountains in the distance and the moon was behind those mountains, and they barely had to change the focal length of the camera to get the moon into focus from.
Now, basically, let me tell you where this is going, because otherwise I'm just going to end up playing his whole video. What he's wondering is if there's an increment that you could turn a focal length on, on a specific camera, it doesn't matter which camera it is, but, by a certain amount, and it'll focus to a certain distance, and then a next distance, and a next distance, and a next distance. This is basically just the precursor to rewarming the argument of we can't focus on the moon because if it's 200,000 away, because of the fact that because it's too far away and you wouldn't be able to focus on it. That's basically where this entire argument is going. Now, like I said, don't get me wrong. He posed this in the form of a question, so I am just showing him the answer. The answer to his question is no. There is no amount that he would be able to turn his focus here on the camera to make it so it to determine the distance. And I'm going to tell you why. It's not that it doesn't happen. It's the amount of sensitivity that would be involved. Because as things get further away, the focal point becomes, as far as the angles are concerned, the focal point becomes increasingly smaller, or less between the distances, and that by increment. And even with the most high power, high resolution cameras that you can buy on the market right now, once you get to a certain distance, it's kind of not even going to, you're not even going to notice which one's focused more. For example, the picture that he has here. Now let's just say that these are all, that this is all one picture, which is entirely possible. But I can't verify it. I'm not going to say that it is. But if these things are far enough away and he's got his camera zoomed, and the photographer has his camera zoomed in to get all this into the picture, um, you'll notice that there's not much disparity in the focus of all three, all of these objects in the camera. It's just not. And yes, focus at infinity is a thing. Thank you, Luke. And so let me go ahead and show you what this is. Now, what he's hoping for is an increment that he can break down and be able to determine the distance of something by how well you're focused in on it. Now, let me go ahead and show you this, Rich. Now, I can't believe that I'm going to be explaining even some basic geometry things with somebody who doesn't understand the geometry of a shadow and why there's an umbra and a penumbra. But let me go ahead and do this. This right here is representative of a 77 millimeter lens on my P1000. Okay, and I have that down to scale and I have it 1 meter above the ground. That's not really all that important. I'm just showing you that this is a 1 meter square. Okay, now let's say it's focused in on this yellow object right here at 1 meter away. Now, being at 1 meter away, this angle right here to focus that is 4.257 degrees. Okay, as in from the edges of the lens all the way down to focusing right here on this. If it was like focusing on the edge of this, let's call it a post. Okay, now as you move out, you will have to change your focus, which is changing where these 2 points intersect. You'll have to change your focus to get to focus it as it moves further away. Now, this is it at 10 meters. Okay, this is a 10 meter block. This is at 10 meters away. At 10 meters away, this angle is now 0.4258 degrees. Okay, it's a difference now of 3.8312 degrees. It has gotten that angle has gotten that much less. Okay, meaning from horizontal to each edge of the lens itself. Okay, now if I move out to 20 meters, now it is at 0.213 degrees. This angle right here, the complete angle. Okay, so what you're noticing here is that the angle is getting less and less easy to determine, and that's why as you zoom out on things, or excuse me, as you zoom or as you focus on things that are further away, other objects such as, hold on a second, where does video go? That's why these things all look almost to be in similar focus. Now, much closer things are a little bit blurry, but as these are all somewhat similar focus. Now I can even use my own example here. This was me filming out at Boog for my for the experiment that I'm doing with the bending water. Now these tree branches right here are almost exactly 500 meters away from the camera. Now this wasn't with the P1000. This was with even a smaller camera. Now, these tree branches are about 500 meters away. Now, up here is my drone. Okay, that's my Mavic Pro. And actually, as a matter of fact, I think I rotate it so you can see it a little better because I have but I mean, it's a very sharp, I can see it quite well, almost to the same sharpness that I see these branches here. Now, the difference is that my drone in this picture is at 1,600 meters away from the camera. So 500 meters, pretty much focused, 1,600 meters, pretty much focused. And as a reference, this right here is just about 5 or 6 meters closer than the drone is. So that's so the problem is that the further something gets away, more things around it, especially due to the resolution of the camera, are in the same focus. And so, and this plays into this part, which is at 100 meter. Well, I'll just show you the difference between those two there. I'll just jump straight to it here. So I was at 100 meters here. I'm going to go out to, I have it at 500 meters. Okay, 500 meters is where those tree branches were. At 500 meters, the uh, uh, the the focal angle right here from the lens, the focal angle itself is 0.034 degrees. That's from top to bottom all the way down to center. Now, if I move this out to the 1600 meters, which is right here, that turns into the focal angle there is going to be 0.006 degrees. Now, or excuse me, sorry, 0.0026 degrees. So, with a difference from the 500 meter to the 1600 meter being a difference of 0.006 degrees. Now, if you can find a way to have that level of sensitivity and that level of precision in your measurements, by the way, that is or 6/1000ths of a degree. Okay, if you can find that level of precision between that would measure accurately the distance between something at 500 meters away and something at 1600 meters away, then that would be you would have a pretty incredible camera, let alone just being able to turn the dial. Now let's go ahead and I'm just going to stretch it out one more time here. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. We'll go out to 10,000. 8, 9. Come on. 10,000. Okay, now let me make sure that I'm looking at 10,000 here just so nobody gives me snot about this later. I might be a little bit... Okay, my bad. Let's see. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Yeah, that's out at 10,000. So this is a difference between the 1600 meter and 10 kilometer. Okay, in other words, 1.6 kilometers versus 10 kilometers. Now, if I were to zoom in over here, this one I actually didn't do in my measurements, but I'm going to go ahead and do it here anyway. Let me just make another cell over here. Oops, well, I didn't mean to do that, did I? Hold on a second. Control C, Control V, like that. Let's go for 10K. Okay, now the angles that are involved here, let me go ahead and look these up. The angles that are involved here now, let's see, is 89.9998. Okay, so that's 89.9998. Now the difference in angular in the angular the angle of the focal angle for that one is between 1.6 kilometers and 10 kilometers is 0.0022 degrees. Okay, that is just to get the difference between 1,600 and 10,000 meters. So ultimately what I'm saying here is that while yes, there is a mathematical constant, you can use such thing as an isosceles triangle, which is what I'm doing here. By the way, these angles right here, these are offsets from 90. Just has to do with the viewport. That's all. That's why I had to do the subtraction. These are the actual angles, the focal angles, and then these are the differences between the ones previous to them. Just so you can see the numbers there. But ultimately, yes, there is a way you could do that, but no, not with any camera that you'll ever find on the market, and not to the sensitivity that you are trying to find. Like I said, there is such a minute difference between even 1,600 meters and 10 kilometers that you would not even be able to notice it. That's called infinity focusing. And so the answer to your question is no. So The whole argument of why can I focus on the moon if it's 200,000 miles away or whatever, that's ignorance of how a camera works. And yeah, there's not really much more to say on that. You won't be getting that answer from a camera because of the fact that you know that you can focus on the edge of the moon, but you won't be able to focus on, let's say, the individual grains of sand on the moon, or even some of the larger craters that you need a telescope for. Um, it's just that simple. Same reason why somebody standing a mile away, you wouldn't be able to focus on, let's say, I don't know, the zit in the middle of their forehead. It doesn't work that way. So anyway, I just wanted to get that out. And anybody who is still not blocked over on Mr. Thrive and Survive's channel, please feel free to let him know that I answered his question for him. And unfortunately, there will be no rewarming of the moon is not that far away. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to focus on it. Claim. So that's all I really got, ladies and gents. I just wanted to get that out real quick. And thank you all for stopping by.
Oh my God.